An aerodrome, in its simplest form, is a designated area of land or water used for the takeoff and landing of aircraft. It's much more than just a runway. It's a complex ecosystem comprising various components working together to facilitate safe and efficient air travel. Think of it as a bustling city with different districts serving specific purposes. The aerodrome includes runways, taxiways, aprons, hangars, and other essential facilities. Taxiways connect the runways to the apron where aircraft park, load, and unload passengers and cargo. Hangars provide shelter for aircraft maintenance and storage. Each element plays a critical role in the smooth operation of the aerodrome. Beyond the physical infrastructure, an aerodrome also encompasses the airspace above it, which is carefully controlled to manage arriving and departing aircraft. This controlled airspace ensures separation between aircraft and prevents collisions. It's like an invisible highway in the sky, guiding aircraft along designated routes. Aerodromes vary in size and complexity, from small grass strips for general aviation to massive international airports handling thousands of flights daily. Regardless of size, every aerodrome plays a vital role in the global aviation network, connecting communities and enabling the movement of people and goods. Runways are the heart of any aerodrome, the designated surfaces where aircraft take off and land. They are carefully constructed and meticulously maintained to withstand the immense forces exerted by aircraft during these critical phases of flight. They are the stage upon which the drama of flight unfolds. Runways are identified by a number corresponding to their magnetic heading, rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. For example, a runway aligned with a magnetic heading of 93 degrees would be designated runway 09. This numbering system provides pilots with instant information about the runway's orientation. A takeoff runway is a runway specifically designated for aircraft takeoffs. While any runway can theoretically be used for both takeoff and landing, designating specific runways for takeoff can enhance efficiency and safety, particularly at busy airports. This separation of traffic streamlines operations. A primary runway is the main runway at an aerodrome, typically the longest and most capable of handling larger aircraft. It's the runway of choice for most operations, especially when weather conditions are challenging. It's the workhorse of the aerodrome, handling the bulk of the traffic. Aeronautical beacons are essential navigational aids, emitting light signals to guide pilots, especially during night operations or poor visibility. They act as lighthouses in the sky, providing visual cues to help pilots locate the aerodrome and navigate safely. They are the silent sentinels, watching over the airways. An aerodrome beacon is a specific type of aeronautical beacon located at or near an aerodrome. It emits a characteristic sequence of flashes, identifying the location of the aerodrome and helping pilots differentiate it from other light sources. It's the aerodrome's signature, a unique identifier in the night sky. There are different types of aerodrome beacons, each with its distinctive flash pattern. For example, a military aerodrome might use a different beacon characteristic than a civilian airport. These variations help pilots quickly identify the type of aerodrome they are approaching. The beacon's light can be white, green, or a combination, depending on the type of aerodrome. The color and flash pattern are standardized, providing a universal language for pilots around the world. It's a silent code understood by all who fly. Section 5. Aerodrome Certification and Standards. Aerodrome certification is a rigorous process ensuring that an aerodrome meets specific safety and operational standards. This process involves a thorough evaluation of the aerodrome's infrastructure, facilities, and operating procedures. It's a quality control measure, ensuring that aerodromes meet a minimum level of safety. Certified aerodromes provide a level of assurance to pilots and operators that the aerodrome has been inspected and deemed safe for operations. This certification is a mark of quality, signifying that the aerodrome meets stringent international standards. It's like a seal of approval, indicating that the aerodrome is up to par. The certification process is conducted by national aviation authorities, who are responsible for overseeing the safety of aviation within their respective countries. These authorities establish and enforce regulations to ensure that aerodromes maintain the highest safety standards. They are the guardians of aviation safety. The certification process covers a wide range of aspects, including runway condition, lighting, navigational aids, emergency services, and personnel training. It's a comprehensive evaluation, leaving no stone unturned in the pursuit of safety. Section 6. Aerodrome Identification and Reference Points. Aerodrome elevation refers to the vertical distance between the aerodrome's official elevation point and mean sea level. This information is crucial for pilots to calculate aircraft performance and determine safe approach and departure profiles. It's a critical piece of data for flight planning. Aerodrome identification signs are prominently displayed markers that provide the official name or identifier of the aerodrome. These signs are typically located near the main entrance or other prominent locations on the aerodrome. They are like the name tags of the aerodrome, clearly identifying it to pilots and visitors. Reference points are specific locations on the aerodrome used for various purposes, such as defining the beginning and end of runways or marking the location of navigational aids. These points are precisely surveyed and marked, providing essential reference points for aircraft operations. They are the landmarks of the aerodrome, guiding aircraft movements. These identification and reference points are essential for pilots to navigate the aerodrome safely and efficiently. They provide a framework for understanding the layout of the aerodrome and ensuring that aircraft are in the correct position at all times. They are the coordinates of the aviation world. Section 7. Aerodrome Traffic Density. Aerodrome traffic density refers to the number of aircraft movements, takeoffs and landings at an aerodrome within a given period. This density is a key factor in determining the level of air traffic control services required and the complexity of managing aircraft operations. It's a measure of how busy an aerodrome is. Aerodromes are categorized based on their traffic density, ranging from low-density uncontrolled aerodromes to high-density controlled airports with sophisticated air traffic control systems. This categorization allows for the appropriate allocation of resources and procedures to ensure safe and efficient traffic flow. The traffic density category dictates the level of air traffic services available, the type of communication equipment required, and the complexity of the operating procedures. High-density aerodromes require more sophisticated systems and procedures to manage the greater volume of traffic. Understanding traffic density is crucial for pilots to anticipate the level of activity at an aerodrome and prepare accordingly. It helps them plan their arrival and departure procedures and maintain situational awareness in a potentially congested environment. It's about being prepared for the hustle and bustle of a busy aerodrome. Section 8. Aeroplane Reference Field Length. Aeroplane reference field length is a critical performance parameter used in aircraft operations. It represents the field length required by an aircraft to safely take off or land under specific conditions, including weight, wind, and temperature. It's a measure of how much runway an aircraft needs. The reference field length is determined through rigorous testing and calculations, taking into account various factors that can affect aircraft performance. This ensures that pilots have accurate information to make informed decisions about runway selection and takeoff or landing procedures. The reference field length is a critical element in flight planning, ensuring that the chosen runway is long enough to accommodate the aircraft's takeoff or landing requirements. It's a safety check, ensuring that the aircraft has enough runway to operate safely. This parameter helps pilots choose appropriate aerodromes and runways for their intended operations, ensuring that they have adequate field length for safe takeoffs and landings. It's about matching the aircraft's capabilities to the available runway length. Section 9. Declared distances, TORA, TODA, ASDA, and ASDA. Declared distances are a set of runway length measurements that define the available runway for aircraft takeoff and landing. These distances are critical for flight planning and ensuring safe aircraft operations. They are the measuring sticks of the runway. TORA, or takeoff run available, is the length of runway declared available for the ground run of an aircraft during takeoff. It's the starting point for calculating takeoff performance. TODA, or takeoff distance available, is the length of TORA plus the length of any clearway available. The clearway is an obstacle-free area beyond the end of the runway. ASDA, or accelerate stop distance available, is the length of TORA plus the length of any stopway available. The stopway is a designated area beyond the end of the runway used for decelerating an aircraft during an aborted takeoff. LDA, or landing distance available, is the length of runway declared available for the ground run of an aircraft during landing. These declared distances provide pilots with precise information about the usable runway length for different phases of flight, ensuring safe and efficient operations. They are the essential numbers for takeoff and landing performance calculations. Section 10. Clearway and stopway safety buffers. A clearway is a defined rectangular area on the ground or water under the control of the aerodrome authorities, selected or prepared as suitable for aircraft in the event of an engine failure during takeoff. It's a safety net, providing a clear path for an aircraft experiencing engine problems during takeoff. A stopway is a defined rectangular area on the ground prepared as a suitable area over which an aircraft can run to reduce its speed in the case of an aborted takeoff. It's a braking zone, providing extra space for an aircraft to stop safely if takeoff is abandoned. The clearway allows an aircraft to continue its climb after an engine failure, without encountering obstacles, while the stopway provides a dedicated area for stopping if the aircraft cannot safely become airborne. They are complementary safety features, working together to mitigate the risks associated with takeoff. These safety features are crucial for enhancing aircraft takeoff safety, providing pilots with options in case of emergencies. They are the backup plans for takeoff, adding an extra layer of safety. Section 11. Runway strip, a safety margin. A runway strip is a defined area surrounding the runway intended to reduce the risk of damage to aircraft deviating from the runway. It acts as a buffer zone, providing a margin of error for aircraft that might stray from the centerline. It's a safety net, minimizing the consequences of runway excursions. The runway strip is carefully maintained to be free of obstacles that could pose a hazard to aircraft. This includes removing trees, buildings, and other obstructions that could cause damage in case of a runway excursion. It's a cleared zone, providing a safe haven for aircraft that might veer off course. The width of the runway strip varies depending on the size and type of aerodrome. Larger aerodromes typically have wider runway strips to accommodate larger aircraft and provide a greater margin of safety. It's a scalable safety feature, adapting to the needs of different aerodromes. The runway strip is a critical safety feature, providing an added layer of protection for aircraft during takeoff and landing. It's a silent guardian, protecting aircraft from the hazards of runway excursions. Section 12. Displaced thresholds. A displaced threshold is a portion of the runway that is not available for landing but may be available for takeoff. It's a section of runway marked as unusable for landing due to obstacles or other safety considerations. It's a restricted zone, limiting landing operations to a specific portion of the runway. Displaced thresholds are often implemented when obstacles exist near the runway that could pose a hazard to landing aircraft. By displacing the threshold, the landing area is shifted further down the runway, ensuring a safe approach path clear of obstructions. It's a safety measure mitigating the risks posed by obstacles near the runway. The displaced threshold is clearly marked with white arrows, indicating the beginning of the landing portion of the runway. Pilots must be aware of the location of the displaced threshold and adjust their landing procedures accordingly. It's a visual cue, guiding pilots to the correct touchdown zone. Displaced thresholds are essential for maintaining safe landing operations, especially at aerodromes with obstacles near the runway. They are a safety adaptation, allowing aircraft to operate safely even in challenging environments.